All right, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Pulse of Fins Nation. I am your host, Louis Sung, and rejoining me after a brief, shall we say, reprieve is my good friend, Ron Caniff. How are you, my friend? We missed you.
What's up? What's up, Louis? Thanks for having me back, sir.
All
Even
right.
though I bailed on you last time, kind of last minute.
No, it's all good, man. No worries. Jacob Michelle did an awesome job. Hello to Bromar. Hello to Cap for Life. It is awesome to see you guys again. So you all know how this show goes. There are a lot of reactions we have to get to, so we will get to that very shortly. But the first thing that I want to go over real quick is because now, thanks to the good help from our friends at the Extra Yard, we actually now have a sponsor. So this episode of Pulse of Fins Nation is actually brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. Now, if you're like me and want to get into the fantasy sports world but have almost no idea what you're doing or where to even begin to do the hours and hours of grueling research to create the best team possible, then that is where Thrive Fantasy steps in to make things 100 times easier. With Thrive, all you have to do is focus on the top tier athletes, the ones that even the most casual of sports fans instantly know by name, and choose 10 out of the available 20 players to build your lineup. Each prop is assigned a fantasy value for both the over and under on how likely it is to hit. And if you can hit the most props and rack up the most points, you will win a share of the prize pool based on which context you chose to enter. Thrive has over 140,000 guaranteed in prizes up for grabs just for week 1 of the 2021 NFL season alone, and has awarded over $4 million in prize money. And Thrive's featured $100,000 guaranteed contest is only $20 to enter, and the first prize winner takes $20K. Now, what does that mean? That means that even if you don't win the most points of them all, you still have a good shot at putting a significant sum of cash into your virtual wallet. Now, how does this get any better, you might ask? Well, if you use the promo code 5FINS, that's the number 5, FINS, F-I-N-S, when you sign up today, you will have 100% of your first deposit matched up to $100, which means you will essentially double the amount you have to try your luck. So what are you waiting for? Download Thrive Fantasy on the app or Play Store, or visit www.thrivefantasy.com to get started. Sign up and prop up today. So now that I've gotten through all that, and thank you for sitting through that with me, Ron, I appreciate your patience while I go through all that.
Yeah, I had no idea it was coming.
Listen, man, the 5 reasons is getting up there. So yeah,
I'll assume the check is in the mail.
Exactly. Like one can only hope. All right. Yeah, I'm a walking commercial. I mean, listen, man. I gotta. It is what it is, you know. So we're actually gonna go ahead and get started right away. There is one comment by Mr. Alfredo Artiga that I don't know if you happen to see it, Ron, but I thought it was rather amusing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and have Manny put that up right now from our good friend Alfredo Artiga of the 3 Yards Per Carry podcast. So I'm just going to wait for him to put that up there. Oh, yes. So regarding Tua's performance yesterday, if you take away the completion to Gesicki, the 2 conversions on out routes, the in cut to Hollins, and the other completions, then Tua was 0 for 1 with an interception. Just a terrible, terrible performance. Wouldn't you say, Mr. Caniff?
I was just thinking that maybe somebody cut and pasted Alfredo's name in there, and it was really Colin Cowherd that put that. So that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, it's just Alfredo makes a great point about Alfredo, of course, of 3 yards per carry. He makes a great point about the silly town that the critics, if you want to call them that, have gotten into with Tua now. It's just they're going to sound sillier and sillier as the season goes on. They really are. The stuff coming out is just going to be laughable by midway through the season. So,
do you still like Colin?
No, actually, when I felt like he just had a misinformed, incorrect opinion on Tua, I was listening. I didn't agree with him, but I was listening. When he completely and utterly 100% lied about the Bears practice and who the best quarterback was on the field that day, I deleted everything. I unfollowed everything. I went into Twitter and actually muted the words Joy Taylor. I have revoked her fandom. And Colin Cowherd, I am done, 100% done. Don't want to hear about him. Oh, God. Trigger. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with that fool, man. I'm done. It's beyond comical now at this point. Enough. I can find good local content. I don't need to listen to him.
So Mike in West Palm Beach wants to know, is another comment. All the hate on Tua, is it just because it's Miami? What do you think, Ron?
I think it's rooted in Bama and then projected onto some of the Miami hate as well, for sure. So it's like a combination of the two. And I think the national media figured out that they can get a lot of clicks and views and a lot of hype going when they speak poorly about the Dolphins, especially about Tua, and they're right. And I mean, the job of the media is to entertain and to get clicks and views. It is not to be right or wrong. We just have to remember that.
I agree completely. The Miami isn't a big sports town. We were actually talking about this after the game. We were all the guys doing the post game show and stuff. Miami's not a big sports town. It really isn't. Miami. When you go to Miami, you're going to the beach, you're going to the nightclubs, you're going to all these things. You are definitely not going in there thinking, yeah, I'm here for the sports, because that's my favorite thing.
This isn't Buffalo or Green Bay.
Yeah, there's nothing to do there, so you kind of have to go with sports unless you like being frozen in a frozen wasteland in the wintertime.
Or you like buffalo wings.
Or you like buffalo, like Manny's going to Flanagan's. Isn't that Kai's thing? Anyway, so Bromar actually hasn't the national media praised the Dolphins draft? They praised the Dolphins draft at the beginning. Kind of be like the draft was honestly so good looking that they didn't really have much of a choice. And let's be honest about something. Who did they draft? They drafted with their first round picks. They drafted Jalen Waddle. Everybody loves them some Jalen Waddle.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted Jalen Phillips. They loved his ceiling. He didn't play yesterday because of his injury thing, and they're trying to very slowly ease him back in. I'm hoping I'll get to see him practice. They're going to be careful with him. Yeah, Javon Holland already looking like a star. Honestly.
Absolutely.
And the only miss in that first four right now that you can really point at is Liam Eichenberg, and only because he hasn't become a star right off the bat.
For sure.
God forbid he's not an immediate superstar.
No, for sure. I mean, we got to give Ike a little bit of time, but I'm not sure right now where he fits in. He clearly struggled at left guard, especially against the Bears. I don't know that he was doing great again at right tackle. Now he's kind of neither, but then we saw Solomon Kinley kind of got back his first starting role there at left guard, and it probably didn't go so great yesterday.
I mean, it was
not really sure what to do. And then, of course, you go back to the previous year with Austin Jackson, and
yeah, something's wrong. I don't know if it's up here or if it's in his body, but something is very wrong with Austin Jackson.
I'm not the one to say give it time. I keep saying we have to go get a lineman. I think we need to get some kind of lineman somewhere, but I have this feeling that regardless of what I think in regards to Austin Jackson, Miami is going to try and play through that particular spot. There might be some other stuff. Maybe they do something at left guard. Maybe they do something at right tackle. I don't know. Or even at center, although Dieter was okay. He was rated pretty high. I don't know if you saw the PFF ratings thing, take them for what they're worth from PFF Ryan, but actually Dieter, Hunt, and Davis were all rated in the 80s. And then Austin Jackson and Solomon Kinley, well, they weren't, to say the least. So I don't know. I think they'll make some kind of move. Maybe they'll try and get somebody, but I have a feeling it won't be to usurp Austin Jackson. I have a feeling they're going to try and ride out that project longer, unless it really just absolutely starts costing them games or Tua his life.
But if it costs Tua his life, then we've got bigger problems. All right. So I want to take to some of the Twitter comments that I collected yesterday. I didn't reply to any of them by text because the idea was that we were going to do this show. So Manny, you can just pull up my initial tweet there very briefly, because I got about 14-ish replies. We're not going to be able to get to all of them in the time that we had left. We only got about 21 minutes to go. So I basically asked, hey, what are your thoughts after the preseason game? Got a bunch of them. There were a lot of people who are like, holy smokes. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. We'll start with Pete March. That's Pete March right there. Go ahead and click on that one. So it basically says right here, Chris Greer should be on the phone with the Lions about Tyrell Crosby or with Mitchell Schwartz's agent getting one of their asses over to South Beach before the joint practices with Atlanta, because Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn can beat them, but I'll be damned if they let Jones and Jarrett do it also. So that was something that I had honestly alluded to in the postgame show yesterday, and also in the pregame show. I believe I mentioned it too. The whole idea of bringing in Mitchell Schwartz, a veteran right tackle. All you have to do is just guarantee, and listen, dude, we're going to bring you in to be the right tackle. And that'll be it. Give him $5 million. And as long as he's healthy, he'll hold down the fort. It's not going to be an issue as far as I'm concerned. Now, if you're worried that he is going to get hurt, then that's fine. Alfredo brought this up. yesterday, and I understand where he's coming from. I don't necessarily agree with his point, because it's basically saying that if you sign Mitchell Schwartz, you are admitting that you were wrong to trade up to get Liam Eichenberg. And I don't know, man. I don't feel like that's such a drastic way of doing it. That's basically saying that, oh, well, your rookie that you love so much, you were willing to trade up to get him. Well, he's not panning out immediately.
It's been like 14 days.
How many rookies pan out immediately anyway? Like the number is so small, you can't even.
He hasn't even played a preseason game yet. I mean, I'm not sure where he fits in all this right now. The line is still kind of questionable, but he hasn't even played a preseason game yet. I just don't know that. I'm more worried about Austin Jackson because he's had a full year. I think somebody had just posted that as we were talking.
Yes, Mike Lowry said
Solomon
Austin
Kinley.
Jackson. 16
I'm way more worried about those guys, the guys we drafted last year. 2 of the 3, not doing so good so far. Versus Eichenberg, I mean, he didn't even get to play in the preseason game. I think it's way early to say, oh, we messed up. Now, I know I've heard that GMs have gone to coaches and after like 6, 7, 8 practices gone to them and like, yeah, man, sorry, we messed up on that one. I hope this isn't one of those situations. I feel like if it was, they'd already be looking to do something. If they instantly knew this team is ready to win now, like really ready to win. I don't believe they're going to allow, one unit like this to hold them back and do nothing and be stubborn about it. I don't see them doing that. Be different if this was a year or 2 ago. We're not there now. This team has really good players, good talent. Clearly the defense is still where it was. 2 is clearly night and day over, what it was. The wide receiving core, if we can get them on the field, are going to be one of the best in the league. It's just, I don't know. I think they'll do something when they feel it's truly necessary to do it. I know they've had years to do it, but they've been doing it through the draft, not really through free agency, except for a player here or there. So it's like, but with Eichenberg, man, we got to give it a little bit of time. Jeez.
Yeah, for real. I give Eichenberg time, but I'm not willing to give him time at the expense of the season. That's why I say, if you get Alfredo was right about this. I truly believe this, that if you sign Mitchell Schwartz, you have to guarantee him he's the starter coming in, because he will not compete for the job. He's an older guy. He's not coming in here to say, what, you want me to compete for my job? Not going to happen. Like, you could have gotten away with that with DJ Fluker, not with Mitchell Schwartz.
Yeah, I mean, they've tried to find depth at tackle too, and they tried twice. So if they have to go and get somebody and they tell him he's the starter, as long as he's playing up to a starter capability, then he is. So I think that's their own fault for not, taking care of it before the season, right?
Yep, exactly.
And they'll have to let other guys develop behind, him. I mean, that's just the way it works. We're here to, Dolphins are trying to make a playoff run. They're trying to go deeper than a playoff run. Let's be honest. That's what Dolphins have their mindset on.
Yeah, for real. That's what I have it on too. So, Manny, I want you to pull up next the tweet from Mr. Don Fletcher. That's Dr. Fletcher DC. So that one is basically saying, it's a little bit lower down there. Yep. There it is, Mr. Don Fletcher. So basically saying, I'll be more worried about the offensive line after the 3rd game. Malcolm Brown is Jordan Howard. The D will be top 5. I agree with the D being top 5. Malcolm Brown is Jordan Howard. I think
Malcolm Brown has already gone above and beyond just yesterday.
Especially above and beyond Jordan Howard, for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely better. I kind of like only Dokes only got in there a couple times, but he was a little faster than I thought he was too. I really I didn't mind him, but I really like what Ahmed did the most.
Oh no, Savon Ahmed was by far the best running back on the field yesterday for the Dolphins.
Yeah, Ahmed and Gaskin. I mean, I just think we kind of I know neither one of them are a bigger bruiser, and they'll push.
But that's Brown. But you know what? Again, this is why I say to compare Malcolm Brown to Jordan Howard. I really don't think that's fair, because Jordan Howard, he looked slow. He looked too big. Like, not big as in, he's bulky. He's big as in that kind of big. That did not get. Weird. I did not get in that impression with Malcolm Brown. Malcolm Brown hit hard. He pushed hard. He didn't get many yards, but that's, I think, more of a offensive line problem than it is a Malcolm Brown problem. Jordan Howard, you could tell that he was just not there. Like, it wasn't there. Now, Mike Lowry is basically saying that Malcolm Brown kept hitting the wrong hole, or it could be that there were no holes to really hit. That could also be the case. If you're saying that Brown's vision is suspect, okay, that's fine. But I would much rather have a guy who will hit the wrong hole, but he'll at least push to get that extra yard, than a guy who probably can see the hole, but he hits it so slow that it doesn't really matter. That's the difference between Jordan Howard. Oh, here I see Manny getting ready to pop in here. I think he has an argument to make.
No, but listen.
Yeah, you know about it.
Well, listen. Like I do watch every team around the league. Malcolm Brown was the Rams' third, fourth running back option. And
he wasn't bad.
And he basically only touched the football when Todd Gurley was hurt and when basically Cam Akers wasn't really fit. That's it. Like Malcolm Brown, he's not going to, burn you on the outside for a 20-yard gain.
That's not his job.
He will fall forward. That's what he is. He'll fall forward.
As opposed to Jordan Howard, who fell backwards.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if you're a Fins fan and you were not impressed by his hold readings, no offense. It's an offensive line that we're questioning everything about today, right? So can you really blame him if he didn't run through the right hole? How many really holes were there?
Yeah, that's true. Dokes looked faster than Brown though, and the knock on Dokes when we came in is that guy was just slow. He didn't look as slow as I thought he'd look anyway, just from the naked eye anyway, just from watching. I don't know how you felt about Lewis, but I felt like Dokes was definitely faster. I mean, if we're looking for a bruiser who's faster, kind of rather keep Dokes. I know I'm basing that off a very small sample size, I'll admit, but I'll be watching Dokes Brown for sure the next couple preseason games. See what happens there.
I had Dokes as one of my players to watch yesterday. I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of him. He didn't play much, but what I did see, it was good. So, I mean, it was decent considering all the circumstances. But again, the best running back of the group and that whole thing was for sure Savon Ahmed. And that's just because he's faster. He's more explosive than Gaskin and Brown and all those other guys.
Definitely. I like having him and Gaskin. I feel solid about those guys. I don't think either one are super studs, but I almost wonder if Ahmed might take over the starting spot over Gaskin, or maybe get in more than what I thought he would.
I don't think Ahmed will take over the starting job. I really don't.
You don't think so?
I think they love Gas. They love.
They do
Gaskin.
love him, no doubt. I will admit they do love him for sure.
And
maybe Ahmed will get in there more though than I thought.
He'll be getting plenty of carries. I know he will.
Yeah.
All right, Manny, hit me with the next tweet. I'm not even going to pick it this time. You pick one. So I'm trying to make it so that it's more reactionary. So let's see. What do we got? One. You pick one, Manny. All right. From Showtime _Miami, Tua, number 1, Tua looks like a new quarterback. Number 2, offensive line needs help. Yes. Number 3, defense is elite. Yes. Number 4, the play calling at the goal line was questioned. Oh, the play calling. The goal line play calling. Ron, they got down to the 7-yard line on that after that Gesicki throw. Mm-hmm. And then after that one pass that got into like the almost I felt like it was the 2. They then proceeded to run the ball twice and get absolutely nowhere.
It's preseason. They want to put line guys up. Nothing fancy, nothing special. Can our guys beat your guys? Let's see what this offensive line can do.
They can beat them. Let's throw the football. That's a vanilla play call.
It's the preseason. They should have vanilla play calls. It's about execution.
I'm good with Ron. I'm good with the vanilla play call. Pick a vanilla pass, not a run.
But why? You're at the 2. You want to be able to see if your guys can punch it in. Period. In the story, it's different if you're in an actual game and you need these 7 and you don't really have a lot of faith in your line and have faith in your running back course. Okay, fine. But in this, you want to line up 5 guys or 6 guys or 7 guys or whatever and see, can we punch this in against a really strong Bears front? And we got the answer. We couldn't. So in a game, I hope they throw the ball or do a bootleg or have Sanders throw it to Pilardi or something. I don't know.
Pilardi's too old for that.
Yeah, dude, how about Pilardi, man? I've been talking about him on Twitter nonstop. I'm excited about him.
It's like I cannot believe people were defending Matt Hawk.
Compared to Pilardi, no, it's not even. It's night and day.
It's terrible.
Not even close.
No, but yeah. As far as the other stuff, Tua did look really good. The defense. This was before Emmanuel Ogbah came in, Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, Jason McCourty. All these guys were missing.
None of them even played, and our defense still looked like last year's defense was ridiculous. I was like, how is this happening? And I wanted to say that I've mentioned Justin Cole on Twitter a few times that he's the starting slot cornerback.
Coleman's a bruiser. He looked like he wanted to hurt someone.
Coleman is the starting slot cornerback. Needham is more of a boundary guy. We really have we have 4 boundary guys.
We were able to name like 10 defensive backs we could use.
We have X and we have Jones. Obviously, Byron Jones. And then you have Iggy kind of backing up X or backing up one of them and Needham backing up the other. Yeah, I know that we're questioning about Iggy. Iggy didn't play bad in that game. He didn't turn around on that one play. But he's more of a gamer, I think, than a practice guy, it would appear. But because he was a little stronger in the Bears practice from reports as well. So he'll come around. He's only been playing cornerback 2 years, which is 1 year at Auburn, now 1 year in Miami, and that's it.
I get that. And I've been trying to make that case for Igbenogany no matter what.
So I think that leaves Coleman as far and away the best slot cornerback. And then you have McCourty, who can also play boundary, but looks like he'll play some safety. And you've got Holland, and you've got Brandon Jones, and you got Eric Rowe. I mean, we got
many.
Got to have the best secondary in the NFL. Like, it's got to be that, right?
Like,
I understand we don't have any Hall of Fame superstars, but it's got to be.
I have a question for Ron. So you've seen where, how do you pronounce his name correctly? Right? What is it?
I just call him Iggy. Igbenogany or something.
Yeah. Igbenogany.
Igbenogany. I can't say his name, damn it. Let me ask Ron this question, damn it. Do you think his performance at training camp, since it's not really been quite positive, could that be a little bit of a reason why they went ahead and they gave Xavier Howard that?
Hell yeah!
All right. Hey, I'm just the one asking the question. Nobody seems to say that specifically. They would have loved to have Iggy come in and be like, "Oh my God, we could definitely start this guy and put the pressure on him." Yeah, but
no trigonometry.
No trigonometry. Nice. But here's the thing with Iggy. He's only played cornerback, as I said, 2 years. He's super aggressive. This is practice. You can't really be super handsy, super aggressive. So it has to be all about technique, and he's not there with technique yet. He does it all with physicality, with athleticism. And so when he gets into a game or he gets into more physical practice, like when they were practicing against the Bears, his ability shines through a little bit more, but he definitely has a lot of rough edges to round off before we could trust him on that boundary. And I believe that the Dolphins saw that clearly, and it was definitely part of their motivation because, like I said, this isn't about team building anymore. The team is built. They are not going to have something mess up what they feel is a team that can compete this season. And X, I think, was part of that, and they did not have a replacement for him in Iggy. Clearly, and McCourty's okay, but I mean, he's old.
All right, so the next one we got from Ivan at Blue 42 Dolphin. Correct the mistakes, move on to the next game. What's done is done. Take the L. No use crying over spilled milk. Good for the second-year guys and rookies to get a full camp in preseason. It wonders for their. I believe it means it does wonders for their confidence. No idea why Herbert ain't playing. They might regret it. So I assume that Herbert is referring to Justin Herbert and the fact that he did not play. I mean, I get the idea. It's like, yeah, you don't obviously what's done is done. It's preseason. It doesn't really matter. And whatever. I mean, it's fine. This is what this is all about. I guess that was your point you were trying to make about the play calling. Like, you don't really care if they score or not. They're just trying to experiment and see if they can do it. I guess I just would have liked to see them score.
It's the same reason you see the special teams guys run everything out, even when they're back at the 109-yard line in the back of the end zone. They're running it out. They want them to run it out. They want to run everything. They want to see what their special teams. They cannot. The coaches will get together and like, we're running everything back, because you cannot. We can't tell how each other's special teams are going to be able to block and cover if you're catching everything back in the end zone or fair catching everything. So it's a different mindset. It's a different philosophy. You can't go by that. We really have to. We know from practice that how strong Tua has been in these red zone drills. I mean, really strong. Trust me. They don't have faith in that offensive line. They don't think they can punch it in. they're going to give Tua a chance to line up a bunch of these guys and figure it out. From what a lot of the guys are saying, a lot of the beat writers that are there watching the practices this year, the Dolphins have an exciting looking offense, and not just the players, but the way they're calling the offense. I think we're going to be excited about what the Dolphins do on offense this year, even though the run game is still very questionable.
And the run game is questionable solely because of that offensive line. So let's see.
Mostly, and plus I don't know that we have a stud running back. I think it's a combination of both in my mind.
All right. I wanted to just Goat of Vialoa here in the comments section. Fields better pray all the teams he plays have crazy injuries because that man did nothing against our second string. This is true. This is very true because a lot of our starters did not play. And with Justin Fields playing a majority of that first half, they did not get their first down of the whole game until 27 seconds left in the first half. Well, so I didn't want to hear when I heard Justin Fields talking about, it was a lot slower. It was already like slow to me. I already know. Dude, you weren't playing anybody special, man. You're playing against third and fourth stringers who aren't going to make the team. And you talking about how amazing you felt out there?
And
of course you did.
Also playing vanilla defense, of course, just executing, trying to do the basics. But here's the thing. CK Parrott actually said this, and I really, really agreed with him. He said that one of the best way to tell how good our offense was let's see what our defense does. Let's see what the secondary does, because Tua has been kind of throwing all over him in practice, right? Mm-hmm. Like tearing them up in practice. Yep. And we're like, what's going on here? So a good indication that the offense is real was if our defense was sticky, and they were absolutely sticky. And that was without some of the best guys out there. I mean, no X, no Jones. Come on. Mm-hmm. I mean, seriously. So
no X, no Jones, no Ogbus, or our top pass rusher.
On both sides of the ball. We really did. I think we really could. The biggest thing was, could Tua bring what we're seeing in practice into the game? And I believe he truly, truly did that.
I'll tell you something else, and this is something that's going to get overlooked. If X and Jones had been playing, I guarantee you the Dolphins would have tried to bring the house on them at least once or twice. Then what would Justin Fields have felt like? That the game was slow, or is it slow motion like the Matrix?
We're the king of the zero blitz. Let's see what Justin Fields does against a zero blitz from Miami. Let's see what that looks like.
Panic
with X and Jones out there, with Eric Rowe out there, in the secondary with Javon Holland, Eric Rowe, X and Jones, the four guys back there, and we bring a zero blitz, 7 guys into Justin Fields' face. Let's see what Colin Cowherd thinks about who the best quarterback is on the field when he's facing that, every 7th or 8th snap. Come on.
Right. All right. Let's go ahead and finish it off with one last tweet. Manny, make it so. All right, let's find a good one here. All right. So, good performance. This is by Angel Martinez. Good performance by Tua, except for a correctable interception. First team D is great, even without the pass rushers and star DBs not playing. Gaskin, Ahmed, Gesicki are great. Needham, Hollins, Coleman making the team. The offensive line, tears. And I agree with that exactly. Again, the interception, yes, that was a mistake on Tua's part. You can't deny it even for a second.
He threw it late. I mean, simple as that. He threw that ball.
He screwed it up. But that was that was pretty much the only mistake he made.
It was
the whole game. It's just that's the one mistake that happened in the end zone. So that's what makes it hurt the most.
I'm not worried about it.
I'm not worried about it either. It's just, but that's where the stat line pops up. It's like, he only had a 57 quarterback rating. It's like, man.
Yeah, whatever. But, let the stat watchers would say that all they want. I'm excited about this season. I can't wait for it to start.
For sure. Mike Gesicki and Tua, that's going to be a connection. Everybody who's checking out Thrive Fantasy, you should go see if you can get your hands on some Mike Gesicki.
100%. Gesicki, top 5 tight end this year. Absolutely no doubt, because now there's no way defenses can do to Gesicki what they did last year with these wide receivers. They cannot do it. Gesicki's going to get all kinds of favorable matchups this year. We know Tua can hit him. We know Gesicki can get open. Watch out for those two. That's going to be – he's top 5 fantasy tight end, Gesicki. Mark it down. And I think you can get him like as the one of the last tight ends if you're looking for a starter. So
probably because nobody's going to pay attention.
That's one to grab for sure.
Because everybody's looking at Travis Kelce, they're going to look at Darren Waller, which they should. Let's not act like
of
we
course,
should.
I would draft those guys over him first. I would just be, instead of drafting him early, I would just let all these fools draft some of these mid-range tight ends. Let them draft Gronk. You know what I'm saying? And you grab yourself Gesicki in like the 9th round and have one of the top tight ends.
For sure. All right. So we've reached the half-hour mark, and our good friend Manny, thank you so much for producing it. And thank you again to Thrive Fantasy for sponsoring. You can go ahead and we'll put it in the link in the description after this is over to go ahead and put that in. It's thrivefantasy.com. You can get up to $100 on your deposit for the first time when you sign up. So with all that said, we will be back soon for another episode of the Pulse of Fins Nation next week at the very latest, because we need to make sure that we get in a few more of your comments and stuff, because there will be more to react to as time goes on. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Caniff, thank you. Mr. Manny, thank you. We will see you all next time.
See you guys.